For decades, the official story of Bruce Lee's death never felt right. In 2022, a clinical study dropped a bombshell. What if his be water philosophy wasn't just a metaphor? What if it was a literal biological warning he ignored? This is the tragic key to the man behind the legend. The 50-year-old story was simple. A 1 in a million allergic reaction to a painkiller. Clean, easy, and for most, totally unsatisfying. Then, the Clinical Kidney Journal proposed something hiding in plain sight. They didn't focus on what he took, they focused on what he drank. The theory: hyponatremia. Here is what that looks like. Your kidneys can't excrete excess water fast enough. Sodium levels crater. Your cells swell, including your brain. Think about Lee. The brutal training, the strict diet, the constant fluid intake. He was convinced water was the source of his power. The irony is brutal. The man who taught the world to flow like water may have created an internal flood his body couldn't handle. That philosophy gave him immense power, but it came with a biological cost. Before he was an icon, Bruce Lee was a stereotype. 1960s. Hollywood gave him two options: the villain or the servant. He pitched a revolutionary series about a Shaolin monk in the American West. The studio loved it. They greenlit it. They called it Kung Fu. Then they gave the lead to white actor David Carradine. Their reason? An Asian lead wasn't relatable. This wasn't just a rejection, it was an erasure. Most actors would have grown bitter and faded away. Lee chose to be water. He refused the box. He left Hollywood and went back to Hong Kong. It wasn't a retreat, it was a masterstroke. Hollywood's blind spot became Hong Kong's gold rush. He flowed around the barrier. To Bruce Lee, traditional martial arts were a trap, rigid, dogmatic, and useless in a real fight. The 1-inch punch wasn't a party trick, it was a statement. 0 wasted energy. No flowery movement. From that, he built Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. It wasn't a style, it was an anti-style. His core principle: absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. To the old masters, this was heresy. It was a declaration of war on centuries of tradition. Dana White calls Lee the father of MMA for a reason. He chose fluidity over dogma. But Jeet Kune Do had a structural flaw. The critique is simple. JKD is a philosophy, not a curriculum. Lee had decades of Wing Chun, boxing and wrestling baked into his bones. He earned the right to be formless. But hand that freedom to a beginner? You get freedom without the steel. Without the master, JKD often became the very thing Lee hated, a hollow collection of techniques. It's like handing someone a blueprint for a sword without teaching them how to forge the metal. In 1970, a back injury left Lee paralyzed. Doctors said he'd never kick again. With his body rigid, Lee retreated to his mind. He owned 2,500 books on philosophy and psychology. For 6 months, flat on his back, he used that mental arsenal to design his own rehabilitation from scratch. Most fighters train their bodies to be weapons. Lee trained his mind to be the forge. Be Water wasn't for a movie poster. It was his operating system for surviving the impossible. While others were bodybuilding, Lee was engineering. He solved the power problem. How does a 135-pound man hit like a truck? The solution was rotational kinetic energy. He mastered transferring force from the floor to the fist in a fraction of a second. He solved the speed problem. How do you move faster than the eye? The solution was fatigue loading, shadow boxing with weights to tire the muscles so that when he dropped them, his hands felt weightless. He solved the grip problem. How do you make hands unbreakable? The solution was plunging them into searing hot gravel. He wasn't just working out, he was designing a weapon. So, did being water kill Bruce Lee? Biologically? Maybe, but that misses the point. Be Water was how he survived Hollywood racism, how he shattered 500 years of martial arts dogma, and how he rebuilt his spine. He pushed that philosophy to the absolute limit. The very principle that fueled his revolution created the vulnerability that ended his life at 32. His death wasn't a contradiction of his philosophy. It was its most extreme expression. He didn't just teach us how to flow, He showed us what it costs. That philosophy was forged in real, brutal confrontations, the ones the cameras didn't see. Like the time a challenger walked into his school for a no-rules bout that changed Bruce Lee forever. To see the reality of Lee's most dangerous real-life fights, watch the next video. The truth is crazier than the movies,